Imagine answering a door and finding love. It sounds like a fairy tale, right? Well, this is the story of Douglase and Joy. Douglase was adopted by his grandparents at age 4. He lost his mother but found warmth in their love. Cooking with his grandmother, whom he calls Nana, became a beloved hobby. Time passed, and Douglase grew up strong and kind. Life took a turn when his grandfather passed away, leaving Nana lonely. Concerned, Douglase encouraged her to get out and meet friends. Nana joined a group of friends and enjoyed outings and cruises. Meanwhile, Douglase used his inheritance wisely to buy a cozy condo. One day, in the kitchen, he heard the doorbell ring. Dressed casually, he turned off the stove to answer. As he approached the door, it rang again. "May I help you?" he asked. The woman at the door smiled and said, "My sister didn't tell me she had a man living here." Curiosity sparked. Douglase replied, "Who are you looking for?" She sighed. "It's been a long trip. I'm jet-lagged. Please let me in. By the way, my name is Joy." "Nice to meet you, Joy. I'm Douglase. But there's confusion, no one else lives here but me." Joy checked her note, confirming the address. It turned out she rang the wrong apartment number. She meant to visit 522 but reached 532 instead. And just like that, a beautiful romance blossomed from this mix-up. Imagine if she never knocked at that door. In summary, love can find you in unexpected places. Sometimes, all it takes is a little confusion to lead to something wonderful. So, don't shy away from new experiences. You never know when love might knock. If you enjoyed this story, share it with friends. After all, who knows? Maybe they'll find love at their next doorbell ring, too. Douglase chuckled softly as he processed the unexpected situation. Fate has a funny way of bringing people together. He stepped aside, inviting Joy into his home, sensing a spark between them. Joy stepped inside, looking around with fascination. "You have a lovely place," she remarked, her eyes lighting up as she took in the cozy decor. Douglase felt his heart race. The warmth of her presence was undeniable. "Thanks. I tried to make it feel welcoming," he replied, smiling shyly. As they exchanged pleasantries, the initial awkwardness began to melt away, replaced by an easy camaraderie that neither of them had anticipated. The conversation flowed seamlessly, each sharing snippets of their lives, aspirations, and the little quirks that defined them. "So, what brought you to town?" he asked, eager to learn more about this intriguing woman standing before him. She paused, her gaze drifting to the window. "I came to surprise my sister for her birthday, but I guess I surprised myself instead," she replied with a playful grin, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Douglase leaned against the counter, intrigued by her playful energy. "Surprise visits can be the best kind of gift," he mused, feeling a connection growing. Joy nodded enthusiastically, her smile radiating warmth. "Exactly. She probably thinking then it is funny how a wrong door can lead to the right moment?" She said, "I'm so glad to meet you too, Douglase, but I have to go see my sister." "Leave my dinner," she joked. She walked at the door and left. An hour later, Douglase's doorbell rang. Once again, Joy was at the door with a wide smile and a bottle of wine. She said, "I'd invited myself to dinner, at least I brought wine. I was glad I rang the wrong doorbell. I met you." He chuckled, appreciating her perspective. "Thank you for the wine. It truly was unexpected, and I must say, I'm glad it happened," he replied, his heart swelling with a mix of excitement and possibility. They continued to share laughter and stories, each moment weaving a tighter bond between them. Joy's eyes sparkled with enthusiasm as Douglase offered her a drink, noticing how easy it felt to converse with someone so vibrant and full of life. As they settled into the rhythm of their conversation, the world outside faded into the background, leaving just the two of them and the magic of their unexpected encounter. In that cozy kitchen, a warmth began to blossom, hinting at the beautiful journey that lay ahead, all sparked by a simple knock on the door. Joy took a sip of her drink, savoring the moment. "Oh? And what do you propose?" Joy leaned in with a mischievous grin. "Let's plan an adventure right here." Douglase's eyes twinkled with excitement as he replied, I'm all for an adventure, especially with someone as fun as you. Joy giggled, a sound that filled the air with a sense of joy. How about a cooking challenge? We could create something delicious together. Douglas's heart raced at the thought, and he nodded enthusiastically, knowing that this moment was only the beginning of their shared story that would unfold in ways they could hardly imagine. Cooking challenge it is, Douglase exclaimed, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. What do you want to make? Joy's face lit up, and she leaned closer, her excitement contagious. How about we prepare our take on a classic Italian dish? Something simple yet delicious. Sounds perfect. I can whip up a mean pasta, he assured her, his confidence evident. Joy chuckled softly, and I'll bring my secret sauce, which always leaves people wanting more. You're going to find I'm quite the culinary queen, she teased. Douglase grinned, thrilled by her spirit. Then let's see if I can keep up with you. As they worked side by side, the connection between them deepened, each shared task reinforcing their budding friendship and hinting at something more profound. Joy busily gathered fresh basil and ripe tomatoes, throwing Douglase a playful glance. I hope you can handle a little heat, because my sauce has just the right kick, she declared, her eyes glinting with mischief. Douglase chuckled, rubbing his hands together in anticipation. Bring it on. I've always believed that cooking should be an adventure. It's a labor of love, but the results are always worth it, he explained, a fond smile gracing his lips. Joy nodded, captivated by the passion in his voice. I can't wait to taste it. Food is meant to connect people, don't you think? They locked eyes, a moment hanging in the air, brimming with unspoken feelings. Absolutely, Douglase replied, feeling the weight of her words. Sharing a meal can be so intimate. It tells a story. Joy nodded in agreement, her expression thoughtful. It's amazing how food can transport us, reminding us of home, family, and those we love. With a subtle smile, she added, I think we'll create new memories tonight. Douglase felt a rush of warmth at her sentiment, recognizing the bond they were forging. Music played softly in the background as they continued chopping, laughter chiming in with the rhythm. So, tell me, Joy ventured, wiping her hands on a kitchen towel, what's your favorite dish to make? Douglase paused, pondering the question. Well, aside from Nana's lasagna, I'd say a hearty risotto. It's just so comforting. Joy leaned against the counter, resting her chin on her hand. Risotto? How fancy. You definitely have a taste for the finer things. He chuckled, feeling a delightful spark from her playful tease. I guess I do, but only when it comes to food. What about you? Joy's eyes lit up as she spoke. I love baking. There's something magical about transforming simple ingredients into sweet treats. Douglase listened, captivated by her passion. Do you have a specialty? He asked, genuinely interested. Chocolate souffle. It seems intimidating, but it's a game changer when made right, she declared with pride. A hint of mischief danced in her eyes as she continued, maybe once we've bonded over pasta, I could let you try making one. Douglase grinned, feeling a fluttering excitement at the thought. I'm all in. But first, we must conquer this pasta challenge. They exchanged confident glances, ready to embark on this culinary adventure together. As they dove into the cooking challenge, the kitchen buzzed with energy and laughter. Cooking is like a dance, don't you think? Each ingredient adds its own flavor to the rhythm of the meal, she said, her voice light and airy. He watched her, feeling his heart swell with admiration. Absolutely, and I'm just trying to keep up with your dance moves, he teased back, swiftly chopping onions that made him tear up a bit. Joy giggled, reaching over to hand him a tissue while she continued to stir the sauce, their chemistry growing with every playful exchange. You'll get better with practice, and soon you'll be leading the dance, she encouraged gently, casting him a warm smile that lit up her whole face. With the sauce simmering pleasantly on the stove, Douglase suddenly had an idea that made him grin. How about we add a twist to our dish? I've got some spicy Italian sausage in the fridge. Should we throw that in? Joy's eyes sparkled with enthusiasm at the suggestion, yes. A little kick will make it extraordinary. As they rummaged through the fridge, Douglase admired the synergy of their collaboration, noting how fun this spontaneous cooking adventure had become. It's like we're both chefs on a culinary mission, he joked, and Joy laughed, nodding in agreement. Exactly. Ready to impress everyone with our masterpiece. Cozy atmosphere that felt like the beginning of something beautiful. As the aroma of their dish filled the kitchen, Joy glanced at Douglase with a playful smirk. So, who do you think will get the last bite? The chef or the sous chef? She challenged, stirring the sauce with a flourish. Douglase raised an eyebrow, a competitive spark igniting in his eyes. Well, I suppose it all depends on who's cooking up the tastiest creation. He shot back, unable to suppress a grin. Joy pretended to ponder the situation seriously, her expression dramatic. I might just have to taste test it every few minutes to ensure it's perfect, she said playfully. Gotta keep my chef on his toes. Excitement pulsed between them, every banter stirring their chemistry like the bubbling pot on the stove. You know, she said, glancing up at Douglase with a twinkle in her eye, I think having a cooking partner makes everything better. It's nice to share this experience. Douglase nodded, feeling the warmth of her words settle in his heart. I couldn't agree more. Cooking solo has its charm, but this feels special, he replied, his voice softening. Joy smiled knowingly, the connection between them deepening with each shared moment in the kitchen. Just then, Douglase cut a small piece of the sausage for a taste test and offered it to her. Here, what do you think? Joy took the bite, her eyes widening in delight as the flavors burst in her mouth. Wow, that's incredible. You really know how to elevate a dish, she exclaimed, a genuine smile lighting up her face. Beautifully unexpected between them. In that cozy kitchen, as their meal neared completion, Douglase and Joy knew they had stumbled upon something truly special. Their laughter intertwined with the tantalizing aromas, creating a tapestry of shared moments that would linger far beyond the evening. It wasn't just a dinner, it was the spark of a beautiful friendship, perhaps something even deeper, nurtured by the magic of a simple knock on the door. As they plated their culinary creation, Joy couldn't help but admire their masterpiece. Look at this. We've actually made something delicious together. Her voice brimmed with enthusiasm, a reflection of their joyous collaboration. Douglase smiled, his heart swelling with a sense of accomplishment and connection. Indeed, this is more than just food, it's a celebration of our new friendship, he replied, lifting his glass in a toast. Joy's laughter echoed, and the warmth of the moment enveloped them, solidifying that this evening was a turning point in their journey. Joy raised her glass, her eyes sparkling. Here's to unexpected adventures and delightful surprises, she declared, her voice ringing with a charming confidence. Douglase clinked his glass against hers, feeling a surge of excitement at the thoughts of what lay ahead for them. And to finding joy in the most unexpected places, he replied, his voice filled with sincerity. As they took sips of their wine, the atmosphere shifted slightly, the playful banter gave way to a quiet acknowledgement of the deeper connection forming between them. Joy, feeling the weight of the moment, set her glass down gently and leaned in closer. You know, Douglase, this evening feels like the start of something beautiful, she said, her voice low and sincere. Douglase locked eyes with her, sensing the gravity of her words. I feel it too. It's crazy how a simple mistake can lead to something so meaningful. As the warmth of their budding connection enveloped them, they both knew they were at crossroads, where friendship could blossom into something more profound. The kitchen, filled with the tantalizing aroma of their meal, almost seemed to echo their thoughts, whispering promises of future adventures and shared laughter together. Douglase took a deep breath, savoring the moment, and smiled. It really is amazing how one little mistake can change everything. I never imagined cooking tonight would lead to such a wonderful connection. Joy nodded, her expression softened, as she reflected on how this night had unfolded. I used to think surprises were a nuisance, but now, I see how they can bring out the best moments in life. A comfortable silence fell between them, as the realization of the evening's significance settled in. Douglase glanced at the well-prepared meal, then back at Joy, finding her gaze warm and inviting. I'd love to continue exploring this, whatever this is. Joy felt her heart flutter, the anticipation of new experiences with him filling the air between them like a delicious aroma. Me too, she whispered, her sincere tone echoing Douglase's sentiments. Let's embrace the surprises life throws our way. With laughter still dancing in the air, they sat down at the small dining table, which was softly lit by the glow of the kitchen. Joy took a moment to look around, noting how their cooking adventure had truly transformed the space. "You know, Douglase, I can see this becoming a tradition," she mused, a playful glimmer in her eyes. "Are you suggesting we create a cooking club just for the two of us?" Douglase teased, leaning back with a grin. Joy chuckled, "Absolutely. We could try different cuisines each week, expanding our culinary skills while enjoying each other's company." "Count me in," he replied enthusiastically, his mind whirling with the delicious possibilities ahead. As they began to share their meal, the flavors exploding joyfully in their mouths, each bite felt like a reminder of the unexpected joy they had stumbled upon together. "Let me get that for you," Douglase said as he stood, noticing Joy struggling with her napkin, which had slipped off the table. She thanked him with a warm smile, her fingers lightly grazing his as he reached for it. The gentle touch sent a wave of warmth through both of them, igniting an unspoken thrill in the air. As they resumed their meal, their conversation flowed effortlessly, reflecting the newfound intimacy shared in that cozy space. "So, what's your most ridiculous cooking disaster?" Joy asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. Douglase chuckled, recalling a particularly mishap. "Once, I tried to flambe an appetizer, but instead, I almost set my kitchen on fire." Joy erupted with laughter. "That sounds like a scene straight out of a comedy movie. I can't believe you survived." Douglase raised an eyebrow, grinning. "Well, after that, I stuck to simpler recipes for a while." The playful banter continued, and Joy felt a delightful sense of comfort settle between them, as if they'd known each other for much longer than just an evening. Joy laughed heartily, the melody of her laughter warming the room further. "I can't believe you attempted flambe. You're braver than I am." "My cooking disasters usually involve burnt cookies," she confessed, a sheepish grin crossing her face. Douglase chuckled, shaking his head in disbelief. "Burnt cookies? That's almost endearing. What did you do? Blame the oven?" She nodded dramatically, placing her hand over her heart. "Absolutely. I insisted that my oven had it out for me that day." He burst into laughter, picturing her theatrics. "It sounds like we've both had our share of culinary chaos," Douglase said, raising his glass again playfully for another toast. "To the unexpected. May it continue to bring laughter into our kitchens." "To the unexpected," Joy echoed, their glasses clinking once more. They shared a moment of understanding and laughter, the unbreakable bond of shared stories drawing them nearer. As dinner continued, they exchanged more tales, revealing snippets of their lives, dreams, and even fears. Each laugh, each word sparked a deeper connection, illuminating the path to what could become a significant chapter in their lives. "Speaking of chaos," Joy began, her eyes twinkling with mischief, "what about that one time you misread the recipe and ended up with a 3-layer cake instead of a simple pie?" Douglase chuckled, the memory flooding back. "Oh, that was a disaster. I was so eager to impress, and instead, I created a mountain of frosting to deal with." Joy laughed, her delight infectious. "I can only imagine. Did it at least taste good?" Her playful inquiry made him grin. "Surprisingly, yes. But the kitchen looked like a bakery explosion afterward." As they reveled in this humorous exchange, the spark between them grew brighter, a promising hint of what the future could hold. As they cleared the table, Joy reached over to help Douglase stack the plates, their fingers brushing again, igniting that same warmth from earlier. "You know," she said, her voice softening, "this evening has exceeded all of my expectations. I didn't just come here for the surprise, I found something more." Douglase paused, leaning against the counter, captivated by her sincerity. "Me too, Joy. I didn't realize how much fun cooking could be until you showed up." They shared a glance filled with understanding, their hearts recognizing the uncharted territory they were exploring together. "Perhaps this is just the beginning of our many cooking adventures," she suggested, a hopeful smile blossoming on her face. "Absolutely. And every special dish we create will come with its own story," he replied, feeling a promise of many shared moments twirling around them. Together, they began to gather more memories, their laughter intertwining with the familiar rhythm of the kitchen. In these small, shared moments, They built the foundation for countless adventures yet to come, each one spurred by the lucky twist of fate that had decided to knock on the wrong door. As they finished washing the dishes, Joy turned to Douglase, a playful smirk dancing on her lips. "So, when's our next cooking night? I can't wait to show off my soufflé skills." Douglase laughed, wiping his hands on a towel. "How about next week? I'll brush up on my baking just for you," he replied, an excitement brewing at the prospect of their next culinary adventure together. Joy beamed, her joy contagious as she envisioned the fun to come. "Perfect. I'll bring the chocolate, and you bring the charm." Douglase chuckled, the warmth of her words swirling around him like the scents they had created together earlier. "Deal. And I'll make sure to clear the kitchen before our baking escapade," he joked, teasingly raising an eyebrow. Their shared laughter rang out again, filling the cozy space with the promise of many more moments steeped in friendship and, perhaps, something deeper as they discovered new recipes and shared experiences together. As they finished cleaning up, the evening felt like a dream they never wanted to end. Joy glanced out the window, watching the stars twinkle in the night sky. "You know," she began thoughtfully, "it's amazing how one little detour can change everything." Douglase nodded, his heart swelling at how profound her words were. "It really is, Joy. It makes you wonder what other surprises are waiting for us." Their eyes met, and in that moment, the air shimmered with unspoken possibilities. Joy smiled softly, her voice barely above a whisper, "I hope we find out together." As the night deepened, they both knew this was only the beginning of a beautiful journey forged by chance and stitching together the fabric of connection and adventure, one surprise at a time. As their plates emptied, an easy silence settled between them, the warmth of shared laughter still lingering in the air. Douglase leaned back, a contented smile on his face. "You know, I wouldn't trade this night for anything," he said, his voice sincere. Joy looked up, her expression reflecting the same sentiment. "Me neither. Sometimes, the best memories come from the most unexpected situations," she replied softly. The stars outside twinkled in agreement, as if celebrating their newfound connection. "Here's to more surprises and shared adventures," Douglase added, raising his glass one last time. "To us," Joy whispered, her eyes sparkling with excitement and hope for the future. As they finished their drinks, Douglase felt a surge of courage. "Joy, since we're on this adventure together, what's one thing you've always wanted to do but never had the chance?" Joy tilted her head, considering his question, her eyes glowing with appreciation. "I've always wanted to travel to Italy and learn from nonnas about authentic cooking," smiling, she said, "from you. There's something incredibly special about experiencing food at its roots." Douglase smiled at her dream, nodding in understanding. "That sounds amazing. We could plan a trip someday and make it a culinary journey of a lifetime." Joy's face lit up at the thought, her excitement palpable. "Oh, I'd love that. Cooking together in Italy would be a dream come true." Their laughter filled the kitchen once more, punctuating the enchanting possibilities before them. The evening had not just been about pasta, it had intertwined their aspirations and hopes, binding them in delightful anticipation for the future. As they shared their ideas and dreams, the conversation flowed like the rich aroma of their cooking, filling the kitchen with an added warmth. Joy's eyes sparkled with enthusiasm. "And imagine us trying all the regional specialties, from Sicilian arancini to Neapolitan pizza." Douglase chuckled, picturing the culinary escapades they would embark on. "I can already see it, our very own culinary adventure through Italy." Joy leaned in closer, her excitement infectious. "It would be like a dream come true, exploring hidden gems and learning from the best." Douglase nodded firmly, feeling the joy of adventure swell within him. "Let's make a pact to not only explore food but also the places that inspire it. It'll be a journey for both our hearts and stomachs." Joy laughed, thoroughly enjoying the idea. "I'm in. Wherever the culinary winds may take us, then." As they wiped down the kitchen counters, Joy paused and turned to Douglase, her expression earnest. "You know, it's refreshing to meet someone who shares the same zest for life and adventure," she said, her voice carrying a hint of vulnerability. Douglase nodded, feeling the weight of her words. "I think we inspire each other in a way. It's not just about our cooking, it's the connection we're building to." Joy smiled, her eyes sparkling with genuine appreciation. "Exactly. It's like we've discovered something special right when we weren't looking for it. With that, they shared a warm glance, the kitchen buzzing with unspoken promises and the excitement of what lay ahead. As they finished cleaning the kitchen, Douglase turned to Joy, a playful smile on his face. "So, what's next on our culinary adventure calendar? Perhaps an international theme night?" Joy's eyes sparkled with excitement at the idea. "I love it. We could make it a monthly tradition, exploring different cultures through food." Douglase nodded eagerly, his mind racing with the potential. "I can already envision a Mexican night with homemade tacos or a French evening complete with crepes." Joy clapped her hands in delight, filled with a sense of joy at the thought of their future gatherings. "Yes. And how about a Japanese night? We could make sushi together. It'll be fun." Douglase chuckled, feeling a thrill at their shared enthusiasm. "Count me in. I'm ready to roll with it." Their laughter filled the kitchen once more, weaving together the promise of friendship and adventure that stretched indefinitely ahead, united by the doorbell that had connected their hearts in the most unexpected of ways. As they leaned against the counter, savoring the last sips of their wine, Joy turned to Douglase, her voice filled with warmth. "You know, there's something magical about transforming a simple evening into an unforgettable adventure," she said, her gaze sparkling with sincerity. Douglase nodded, feeling the magic in the air as he contemplated the serendipity of their meeting. "It's like every little detail, the cooking, laughter, even the accidental knock, all contributed to this moment," he replied thoughtfully. Joy beamed, her heart swelling at the realization of how beautiful their connection had become. "I truly believe life has a way of guiding us to where we need to be," she added, her eyes shimmering with hope for their shared journey ahead. Together, they stood enveloped in the warmth of the kitchen, a shared promise of more spontaneous adventures unfolding, all ignited by a simple knock at the door. Their eyes met, and in that moment, they both knew they were embarking on a journey that was just beginning. As they continued to share their ideas and laughter, the atmosphere felt almost electric with possibilities. Joy playfully nudged Douglase, her smile infectious. "How about we add a dessert to our next cooking night? I can show you how to make my famous chocolate soufflé." Douglase grinned, intrigued by her enthusiasm. "A sweet ending sounds perfect. Count me in for that challenge." Joy's eyes sparkled as she thought about the evenings that awaited them, each filled with laughter, new recipes, and sweet moments. "And who knows? Maybe we'll end up creating our own epic dessert recipe." Douglase chuckled, genuinely excited about the adventures to come. "That'll be our sweet legacy," he replied, raising his glass in celebration, as they embraced the delightful journey ahead together. As the evening drew to a close, the stars twinkled brightly outside, mirroring the spark that had ignited between Joy and Douglase. Joy looked at Douglase, her heart swelling with a mix of excitement and hope. "I'm really glad I knocked on the wrong door," she confessed, her voice soft yet filled with sincerity. Douglase chuckled, his eyes sparkling. "So am I, Joy. I can't wait for where our next adventure will lead." They shared a knowing glance, recognizing that their journey together had just begun, grounded in the beautiful blend of friendship and a connection that promised to flourish in unexpected ways. As they finished their wine, Joy leaned back, her eyes shining with delight. "You know, it's not just the food or the fun, it's the memories we're creating that make it all meaningful," she said softly, her tone filled with sincerity. Douglase nodded in agreement, feeling the weight of her words. "Absolutely, these moments are what will stay with us long after the last bite is gone." Joy smiled, a warmth blooming between them as they contemplated the richness of the evening they had shared. "Here's to more nights filled with laughter, culinary adventures, and memories that last a lifetime," she proposed, raising an imaginary glass to emphasize her points. Douglase couldn't help but grin, his heart swelling with hope and excitement. "I'll drink to that. Let's keep cooking up these wonderful adventures together." With a shared laugh, they both knew that this was just the first chapter of a beautiful story waiting to be written. As the evening wrapped up, Joy stood, gathering her things with a lingering glance back at Douglase. "Thank you for tonight, Douglase. It truly was something special," she said, her voice warm with genuine appreciation. Douglase smiled, feeling a mix of happiness and anticipation. "The pleasure was all mine, Joy. I can't remember the last time I had such fun in the kitchen." Joy's eyes sparkled as she turned toward the door. "Let's make sure it's not the last time," she replied, her playful tone hinting at future plans. With a hopeful smile, she opened the door, stepping into the night, both of them aware that an enchanting new chapter was just beginning. And so, as Joy walked away under the starry sky, Douglase realized that a single knock had forever changed the course of his life. Embracing the beautiful uncertainty that lay ahead, he couldn't help but smile, knowing that their journey together was destined for delightful adventures brimming with love, laughter, and countless surprises.